If I were to ask you today what your most important asset is, what would you tell me? Wealth, health, family and friends? What if I told you that there's something even more important that actually combines all those three as well? That is time. Time is your biggest asset, your most important asset. Why is time your most important asset? Well, if you think about it for a second, if you believe wealth is your biggest asset, then guess what? In the beginning, you have to trade your time in order to gain wealth. And people who are wealthy, they actually use their wealth to buy back time. Now let's say that you believe health is your biggest asset. Each day, time is deteriorating your health. If you're not working out, if you're not eating healthy, those factors are just, lowering and lowering your time on this planet as we speak. Now let's say family and friends are your most important asset. Well, without the first two things, wealth or health, you most likely won't be able to spend time with those family members. And that is what we're trying to do, right? We're trying to spend time with family and friends. So that is why I believe that time is our biggest asset. Now that I've shared why time is our most important asset, and you somewhat maybe agree with me, I'm gonna now share some tips as to how we can use our time and save our time and use it in the most fulfilling way. The first tip would be to notice where your attention is. Because wherever your attention is, that's where energy flows. And your attention is actually one of the biggest assets for all of the companies out there in the world today. Everybody is looking for your attention, whether it be Instagram, whether it be TikTok, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, you name it, they want your attention. They want you to continue scrolling through their apps so they can, show you ads, and then you can buy stuff from them, and then those people you're buying stuff from can continue running ads on their platforms. Your attention is really what they need. But in trying to gain your attention, they've also taken away your time from you, which, if you think about it for a second, when you're 80 years old and you're sitting at your retirement bed, you're not going to really think about, oh yeah, remember that reel I saw when I was like 25 and it, made me laugh? Let's think about it for a second, guys. We don't even remember a reel we saw yesterday. You know what I mean? Like, if something made me laugh yesterday, yeah, sure, cool. I don't really remember it now if I'm thinking about it, unless I think really hard, but you know what I mean? So see where your attention is, because that's most likely where your time is going as well. And then what you want to do is you want to make a list of things where your attention is going. Ask yourself, is this where I want my time spent? You know what I mean? Like, hey, if you're spending this much time on social media, because your phone tells you how much time you spend on each app, maybe you can lessen that. If your attention is going towards your newborn baby and you actually like that, then hey, spend more time there. If your attention is going, let's say, to a work-related issue, when you're out of work, maybe try to find ways where you can not think about work outside of work. Second tip is to be where you are. Just flowing right in from that first tip, if work problems are coming in to your personal life, that means you aren't where you're supposed to be. No, you're not here in the present moment. This is the only moment that matters. This is the only moment that exists. Right now, I'm recording this podcast. I'm actually right here. I'm just focusing on the podcast, trying to make sure it's the best podcast, because you know what? You're giving me your attention and I want to make sure I'm using it right, because you're also giving me your time. So be where you are. How do you remain where you are? How do you be fully present in this moment? Well, there's a few things that I like to do. One is focus on the current moment. Just being right here. Just, you know what I mean? Not thinking about anything else, not thinking about, what I have to do tomorrow, what I have to do the next day. Just being right here, right now. The second sub point, not allowing things to, stress me out. The only thing that we control is our mind. That is the only thing. We can't control what happened in traffic, what happens at work, if your body got sick, if a situation didn't play out the way you wanted it to play out. We don't control any of that. The only thing we control is our mind. What you want to realize is eventually is that since we don't have control of any of this, why should we stress about it? Why should we, the stress isn't going to change the situation. If you're happy about a situation, you're sad about a situation, it's not going to change the outcome of the situation or whatever's happening. So you want to remember that point. The only thing you control is your mind. So control the thoughts that are coming in, control how you feel about them, and try to push emotions aside and try to be neutral, because no matter what you do, you don't control the situation. Another way you can be fully present is just by writing down notes, having a to-do list, making a journal. I found that very effective. We all have a lot of things to do. You make a list or a to-do list, write it all down, scratch things off as you're completing them. Very effective, because one thing it does is just it declutters your brain. Like it makes you force the thought out of your head and onto something else. Same thing goes for journaling. This is something that I've been doing over the past 2 years, and very effective. Just write down everything you're thinking about, everything that's on your mind. And funny enough, as you're writing, you're going to keep on thinking of more things to write, and you're just going to keep on writing and writing. And then for some reason, by the end of it, you just feel like empty. Like, you know what I mean? Everything that was in your head, everything that was running around, it's not there anymore. That's how you be present. You know what I mean? Just remove all the things that are bothering you. Focus on the current moment. Okay, so now you've written down your to-do list. You're not thinking about a situation. Now what you got to do is focus on the task at hand. That's it. Nothing else should be bothering you. You know what I mean? You got your to-do list, things that you need to do. Any other situation that's going on is not bothering you because you don't control it. You're just focusing on what you're doing. Focus on what you're doing, get into that flow, and just, do what you need to do. Plain and simple. I know these things sound very easy to say. They are very hard to implement. Even sometimes I struggle with them, but you're gonna get better at it. You just gotta get your reps in. You gotta start. You know what I mean? Like you can always judge if something's gonna work or not, but if you try and start it, you might even know if it works for you or not. Some things might work, some things might not work, but at least you'll know. Now, another way that you can make sure that you're using your time wisely is by buying back your time. This is something that wealthy people do all the time. People who manage these big companies, instead of handling every single thing themselves, instead of micromanaging, they hire people to do tasks for them. You know what I mean? Hire a CFO, hire somebody to deal with the software, hire somebody to deal with the incoming sales calls. You know what I mean? They hire people. So in that way, as a CEO runs a company, you can be the CEO of your own life and buy back your time. How do you do this? I feel like sometimes we believe that we can do way more than we think we can. It happens to everybody, but you can buy back your time just by plain and simply outsourcing your tasks. Let's say, for example, you used to be a mechanic like me, and now obviously you can work on your own car, but you've noticed that maybe your time might be better spent doing something else rather than working on your car. Like the only thing I do on my car now is just change the tires, like winter tires, summer tires. Anything else, I outsource it. I get one of my buddies to do it, another local mechanic, support a local business. And that's one way that you can buy back your time. Instead of just trying to do everything yourself, just get somebody else to do it. I know it costs money, but think about it. If you pay somebody else to do it, that's food on their table, and that's time on your table to be able to do something that you want to do. Like, spend time with your family, focus on your health, focus on your wealth, the first 3 things that we talked about. Now, some quick tips. The Google Notes app, very quick, very effective, just to write down and jot down notes. Calendly, if you're somebody who's busy and needs someone to schedule something for you, use that app, send that to people, let them know that, hey, they can book a time and slot with you to schedule a meeting. And scheduling your day the night before. You know what I mean? You should have a rough outline of what you're gonna do the next day in your head. That way, you can just flow through everything. And there you go, guys. There's just some tips to save and earn back your time. I believe that time is our biggest asset in this world. And in this world, we have a very limited amount of time. We're all here for a purpose, and we need to make sure we find that purpose. And there's this beautiful quote that I always go back to. It says, "We have 2 lives. The second one begins when we realize we only have one." Our time on here is very limited. Use it right, use it properly. I'm hoping this video was useful to you and your time was used well. Thank you very much for listening.